Ladies and gentlemen, today is March 11th, 2013. And this is the KNKL EMMA stream day 32, is it? I think it's day 32. If not, we're rolling with day 32. Today is 32. I'm your host, Kienan Lafferty, and today we're going to be jumping right back into working on our lovely comic Emma, Little Girl versus The Walking Dead. And I have to tell you guys that today we have a special announcement. A special awesome thing that I decided to make for the people who have chosen to go above and beyond and give their hard-earned cash, donate their hard-earned cash to the cause of Emma. So for that, I'm going to switch right over to this thing here. So this is a little thing that I decided last week. I said I was making something special for the people who decided to donate to the cause. So thank you guys very, very much to everybody on this list, specifically well, everybody, but you might be noticing some of the names are sparkly and gold. Those are the people, those are the epic donators, right? Those are the people who have really gone above Call of Duty to really show their appreciation for the comic. So thank you guys very much, and I'll be showing this again at the end of the show. But until then, let us go ahead and jump right into the comic. We don't have no Facebook, no Lovely Lane today, because there have been no real updates as of yet. But we will be doing that soon. So, alright guys, so we return to our lovely bike gang, right? Approaching the house that Emma resides in, right? But first, before we begin throwing in the masks and the color, we need to finish with the line work right over here. We need to finish our ant bike crew over here. They're all big and bad and burly here, and they need to be much cooler looking, right? Yeah. So, let us go ahead and continue where we left off. But I hope you guys had a great weekend. I partook in some awesome activities. Specifically, last Friday, was it? Was it Friday or Saturday? I think it was Saturday. Yeah, I participated in what is called a color run, which is basically where you participate in a 5K and you run, about 3 miles. And during that whole time, the color comes in to play when people have basically like these powder, like these packets of powder that's colored, and they throw it at each other, right? As you're running, right? It's like Mario Kart, and you can like throw it in the other person's face if you want, if you're really mean like that. But and like every mile, there's just like 20 people there with like those mustard and ketchup containers, but they're just filled with like powder, and they just shoot color all over you. And so it's pretty fun. Probably not the best thing for your lungs, but it was a ton of fun because at the end you're all just like green and purple and pink, and you got this powder all over you. And I think it's a combination of there's this festival. It's called the Festival of Color in Utah, and they do that at a Hindu temple there in Spanish Fork. And I actually participated in the actual like holy event there, and that was really cool. And that was interesting to see how they translated that into a 5K run. It was called Run or Die, and die is spelled D-Y-E. Ha, get it? So clever. Those clever Hindu people. Oh, man. So that was a lot of fun. And then after that, I had the joy of going to a place in Hollywood called Pink's, where I ate one of the best chili dogs I think my mouth has ever come in contact with. So that was really good. Run 5K and then eat tons of fries and chili dogs and make it all for nothing. That's the way Americans do it, right? All right. So continuing, we're going to just go ahead and finish off our bike dudes here. And then I think what I'm going to go ahead and do today is we'll do the masks. I think we'll be able to get to the masks pretty easily. I mean, it won't take that long to mask these things. They're pretty much all going to be one color. Then we can start throwing in some values for what we want our background to be. Okay? Okay. But yes, that was my weekend. It was very, very fun. I also went to Griffith Observatory, and I saw a presentation on the Northern Lights. And while that was pretty awesome, it just made me want to go see them in real life, as opposed to just projected across a giant dome. Although it did make me want to watch TV there. I want to have like Futurama blasted across an entire dome. And yeah, Just kind of chill back and eat some lunch. Speaking of lunch, my lunch has now been being not necessarily reduced to, but simplified as of late to. I really like fruit and cottage cheese. Any type of fruit with cottage cheese is really good. You can do it with applesauce, you can do it with peaches. But today I had crushed pineapple and cottage cheese, and it was so good. Just the mixture of the flavors and the textures. Oh, it just made me so happy. It aroused my taste buds in a way I thought not possible. So, yeah, I'm a man who enjoys his food. But yeah, things have been really good. Weekend's been good. Comics been going pretty well. I'm excited. Got some good things coming in. Got the stickers for the posters coming in, so people are gonna be able to order those soon. Yay! And then I got everything that I need to start shipping them out. Just making sure that everything is in order. Got all my ducks, lined up in a row. All my ducks in a row. And I need to be ready to send those babies out. And I need to make sure that the quality is of pristine quality. Because I will accept nothing less than the best for my viewers and my supporters, the people that read my comic and want to buy my stuff. I want to make sure they're getting good quality stuff. So, drawn flagpoles. Yippee. Yippee. But hey, how about this daylight savings time thing, right? Wow, look out there. You can almost see the outside. Can you? Can you see what's outside my window? Well, I think you can. That's kind of cool. Yes, you can see the hills in the distance. The beautiful hills and the city back there, and then a glare of my light here. And my awesome cougar print carpet. Cougar? No, cheetah. Cheetah print. Whoop. Okay. Going back to this. I'm easily amused today. I'm in a good mood today. And you want to know why? It's because I took a big fat nap before the show. Took a massive nap. And I love taking massive naps. I wish I could take a massive nap every day. In fact, I've been contemplating how I can work it into my schedule. Because hey, it's like I'm my own boss now. I don't have to go into the office. I work when I want, and that feels pretty cool. I should be taking that time because might not always be like this. A lot of people don't have the luxury of being able to take a nap whenever they want. And I think I've been just kind of figuring out the importance as of late of taking rests, taking normal amounts of rest to like stretch my hand, kind of walk around, get a drink of water. But also, remember, as I told you guys earlier in the month, I went out and bought myself a journal, right? And what I've been doing lately is I've just been keeping track, by the hour of just things that I've been doing throughout the day. And what it's doing is it's helping me to really stay organized. And another thing that's very, very interesting is I'll make little lists. I'll write down little lists of like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now, and this is what I plan to do next. Or I'm taking a break to do this, or I'm taking a break to go in and make breakfast. This is what I'm going to eat. And then I'll write down what I did in fact eat. And be like, oh, I plan to eat Kix and almond milk, but I had a slice of chocolate cake as well. And just writing down everything that I'm doing throughout the day. And I think what this is going to allow me to do, hopefully, and I can already feel some of the effects right now, is I can take a look at the journal at the end of the day and be like, oh, wow, look, from this time to this time, I was working on this. That's interesting. I never realized that, specifically talking with the comic, I never realized that making the masks, setting up the masks for the comic page took about 45 minutes to an hour. And conversely, the other thing about it is I can also pay attention to when I am sort of like messing around, because like say I get distracted by a YouTube video or something, or I want to like just mess around or play video games, or I get distracted by something, I'll also have to write that down and then come to terms with that at the end of the day and be like, hey, that's interesting. I probably could have saved some time here. I probably could have, even not even worked at that point. I could have just been resting at that point. Like another thing that I wrote down in my journal that I did today was I took a moment to relax and do my exercises for my back, because as I'm working all day with my wrist, my back tends to kind of go a little out of whack, right? And it starts to kind of hurt a little bit. So I took about 45 minutes, not kidding you, and I did my exercises that with the little band thing over there. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little rubber band thing hanging off the edge of that table there, but it's like a little elastic band. And I do like my poor man's Bowflex technique, and I work out my back. And then after that, I took this racquetball, this awesome racquetball, and I set it on the ground, and then I just like lay on it, and then I just kind of like work out all the kinks in my back, and it felt so good. And that was a really, really great period of rest. And then I wrote it all down. So I'm just trying to keep track of like I feel like I'm creating a new schedule and kind of a new kind of way of life, a new regimen that I want to be able to follow, because as of late, I haven't been too enthusiastic. I haven't been too happy with how quickly the comic is coming out. I personally want to see, I want to see the comic faster. And it's not just for, the people who are reading it. It's like I'm just as excited to read this dang comic as anybody else. So it's like if it's not coming out fast enough for me, then I need to make some changes. So I'm taking the steps, smallest step for man, small step for KNKL, and I am going to be doing some research on ways that I can accomplish that, and taking notes along the way. So I guess what the big thing that I'm getting at is if you guys ever feel like you're ever in like a weird bind, or you feel like you're just not progressing quick enough, like if you feel like you're disorganized, you're always getting distracted, I could have really used this thing, back when I was working at Riot, because there would be days that would just go by and it's like, you find yourself at the end of the day saying, where does all the time go? Oh my gosh, I can't believe the whole day went by and I didn't do anything. I barely did anything. So I think what's kind of cool is to kind of start getting a hold on, disciplining yourself and disciplining your mind, is have something to write down what you're doing and kind of make a game out of it. And at first I was like, that's not going to work. Yeah, okay, I'm going to write down everything, every, half an hour, every 45 minutes. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to remember. I'm going to forget. And I actually did. The first day I tried doing it, I actually just forgot about it. Like, after the first entry, I wrote down, woke up, ate breakfast, and then I kind of just forgot after that. And I think why that happened was because I wasn't really making it fun for myself. I wasn't challenging myself to do it. I didn't realize how much of a challenge it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a hassle. But after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to try this again, and I'm not going to I'm going to make this my priority. I'm going to make writing in this book my priority. I'm going to make it more important than the actual work that I'm going to do throughout the day. And what happened was today I actually got more work done than I probably have in a long, long, long time, if ever, with this comic. So it definitely is showing me something. It's definitely showing some form of result. And it's very interesting how you can gain time. Well, you can gain time working by spending it elsewhere and resting. I find that very, very interesting. I'm starting to notice that I can gain time spent on a project by taking time off of it, taking time to record, taking time to rest. And that makes me happy. Oh, so happy. Almost as happy as I am when we're not dropping that many frames. It makes me very happy. So yes, things have been very, very good. Very, very good. So yes, go out, Barnes & Noble. Support your local journal maker if you have a local journal maker. That would be cool to get like a custom-made journal, like leather-bound, like handmade. Oh, that would be awesome. If you have a local journal maker, support him. But if not, support your local Barnes & Noble. And yes, they paid me to say that. I wish. I wish. Today's stream is brought to you by Barnes & Noble. Come here and buy books. Don't pirate them on the internet. Buy them here. And your CDs. Come buy our overpriced CDs at Barnes & Noble. All right, I think that's like the little trailer thingy. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of connect that into the wheel, make it one big shape. Yes, but good things are coming, ladies and gentlemen. Good things are coming. I just feel it. I feel it. Do you feel it? I hope you do. I hope you do, because I feel it. Feeling something good. Something good is on the horizon. All right. Oh, okay, I'm liking that. I'm going to take a quick moment to rest, and I'm going to check over here, so make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Oh, yes, and for those of you talking about ad blockers, yes, I suggest you should get them because they're awesome. I believe in the power of choice. I personally choose to not watch ads, and I would rather have it that people who watch the KNKL show, whether it's live or on YouTube, do not have ads. Because I think they are annoying. Especially when they come like every 10 minutes. It's not right. So, yeah. Oh, oops, I accidentally admitted that I don't watch ads. I mean, my friend uses an ad blocker and he really, really enjoys it. So my friend would really recommend that you get one. Right? Yes. I mean, that would be cool if it was like an ad for something that actually interested you. But rarely have I ever seen an ad on TV that was like, I'm really glad I watched that. In fact, the last ad that I saw on TV that was like, wow, I'm really glad I saw that, was probably the Scion Motivate contest. But unfortunately, I have heard nothing from them. Nothing! So my guess is that they're actually going to postpone the actual contest because it's supposed to be the end of this week. That's when they're having the convention, or when they originally planned it. So my guess is either they're just going to say nothing and not. Maybe they already contacted everybody and they're just not contacting the people they didn't select. But if they haven't contacted anybody, they're probably just going to wait, slowly make sure, like, hope everybody just kind of forgets about it. It never really happened, and then we can just go on with our lives. And then you know what I'm going to say? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Very interesting. And then I'm going to keep making my comic. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll be a little pissed off, but the biggest thing I'll say is, isn't that interesting? When life's getting you down, or when life gets you down, when life's getting you down, all you gotta say is, isn't that interesting? I like it. Alright, looks like we got like a little dune buggy back here. I don't know. Why not? Why not? The biker dude's got a dune buggy. I like it. It kind of reminds me of like the Tyco RC or the RC Pro Am from back in the old Nintendo days. For those of you who remember that game, remember it basically had like the little antenna sticking off there. And you race your cars around the track. The cheesy old 8-bit sounds. But man, they had some good music. Really, really good music. If you look up RC Pro Am on YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, okay, so the dude's got a dune buggy now. All right, cool. Cool, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Why wouldn't they have a dune buggy? Why would they not? In fact, the Super Bowl commercial that came on with like those biker dudes like going against like the Las Vegas like dancer girls. I don't know if you guys remember that. And they're all going for the giant Coke that ends up just being like a sign. And then you had to like choose who wins. That is very, very much what the biker gang from Emma is supposed to be like. It wasn't necessarily modeled after them, but after I saw that commercial, I was like, that's the biker gang right there. So, in fact, I need to do a little bit more research on that on YouTube and get a little bit more inspiration for what I want these guys to become. All right, now let's go ahead and draw in our dust cloud. And again, you guys might notice that I'm not really putting a lot of detail into this, and that is because by the time you zoom out to the actual view that you're going to see this page at, I mean, look at how small those things are. You don't want to put a lot of detail into those things that, you know, you're not going to be seeing a lot of. It just ends up making it look kind of weird. As things go into the distance, generally, I like to reduce the amount of detail. Okay, now what is this? What is layer 2? That's what I would like to know. What is layer 2? There, it's getting combined with lines now. Dust. That's the dust. De-dust. I'll put a little bit of detail here. Huh. Oh, this is awesome. Yes, I'm so excited that League of Legends is doing another comic contest. Oh, it makes me so happy. I love comics, and I love comic contests, naturally. So that's really, really cool to see that League of Legends is doing like all these art contests and comic contests. Kind of makes me want to do a contest of my own. In fact, I think I may be doing one here very, very soon. Once I get like some merchandise and stuff going, stuff that I can actually give away, that's going to motivate me a lot more to get started with some contest type things. And yeah, I think that'll be really, really fun. But yes, someone is saying, KNKL fan, very imaginative name, I like it, is saying, would you like to see our LOL comic entries when we are finished? Yes, I would actually. I would love to see them. Whether you're going to link them to me or Skype or whatever, I would love to take a look. Let's go and throw in like some little itty bitty details here and here. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Okay, now let's finish up our giant dust cloud. And then we're going to move right on into masking, ladies and gentlemen. So basically you'll notice that I'm just kind of like taking the initial flow that I laid down with this dust cloud and I'm just kind of following it, you know, not worrying too much about having it look perfect or like redrawing it, because I laid down these lines before and I said, hey, I kind of like it. And these lines are very, very natural feeling, feel very organic. So I'm just going to continue to run with them. And then I'll take a look at it from like further back and see if it's all looking good, looking as good as I hoped it would. And then I'll make any changes that I need to from there. Yes, finally I shut up. Jeez, it's about time. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw this back here. This is like a giant dust cloud back here. I don't know if I want it to be that big by the time it gets back there. I don't know, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, actually do want it to get smaller as we go back. That's the one change I will make. I will just have it get smaller as it goes back into the distance. Into the distance. Yeah, there we go. Good. What do you guys see over here? Akira Soma is asking, have you ever worked on a piece that needed more than 50 layers? Maybe if I wouldn't have combined them, it would have been a total of 50 layers, but I never let my pieces get to that point because I'm not very good with like keeping all of those layers unless I really make sure to go through and like name every one of them. Make sure they're all nice and organized in their little subfolders, you know, all that stuff. I'm just not good at that. I really love to just combine stuff and then just paint over, paint over, paint over, combine it, paint over, until it's basically like foreground, midground, background, you know, or anything that's really, really important that's overlapping something else, somebody or something else. I'll be sure to put it on its own layer. But no, I have never actually kept 50 layers on a piece before. Never! Preposterous. Preposterous. That's just not the way I work. Not knocking anybody who does do that. Except for you must be very OCD to be able to handle that many layers and remember all of them. I like to keep things simple. Very, very simple. Simple setup for a simple mind. And I am a simple-minded man. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay. Just putting on a little bit more weight to these lines. Putting on some weight there. The lines are looking a little too thin. Looking a little sickly. Looking a little anorexic. Put some meat on there. There we go. No anorexic lines up in here. Up in here. All right. And it looks like there's just a little bit more noise that I need to add back here. Whether that's cloud or something, I don't know. Just need some noise there. Zooming out, let's see how I like that. It's not bad, not bad. I dare say I like it. Yes! All right, people. Let's go ahead and begin the masking technique. I'll show you guys once again how I do the mask. Man, I think you guys have seen this enough before. You probably already know how I do it. But I just go ahead and take away the... oh, there we go. Take away everything except for the lines. And I go through here. Create another layer on top. It's called Lines 02. Bust out my little line tool. And this is where I begin to use my mouse. The mouse comes into play here because it is a little bit more precise. And I need things to be precise when I'm doing this. Except for right here. That needs to be connected. There we go. Line tool. Come to me. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So basically all I'm doing here is I'm going in and I'm connecting all of these areas that are within the border that are going to receive color later. Right? And you'll see why I'm going to do this in just a moment. First, we line Hogarth. Hogarth is our front-running man. He's got that sexy silhouette with the giant nose and big chin. A real man's man. And it looks like everybody else is pretty well closed off. So I think that this mask is going to be complete. Yes. Alright, moving on over to here. Let's see what we got. Anything that needs to be closed off? Nope, that's it. Alright, so next up I go ahead and I push the frame back to 100%. Remove it. And then you'll notice that all of these shapes are closed off. And that is going to allow me to take the magic wand, select everything around the piece, and then the magic happens. Well, actually, wait, we got some things inside here that we need to select. We got these. We got these here. These. So all of the area around your drawing you want to select first, and then we're going to invert, we're going to implode the selection, and it will give us what we want. Okay. Go ahead and select that. And let's go ahead and hit Shift Control I, which implodes our selection. And then we will go ahead and create a new layer, and I call this char mask, which is character mask for short. Select a slightly lighter gray color. Hit Shift F5 to fill the entire piece. Select the foreground color, which is our gray, as you can see over there. And that instantly masks everything. How about that? No lasso tool needed here. No lasso tool needed here. And then anything that I want to go in and like kind of change or fix, I can go ahead and do that. Like, for instance, this little area here. I probably want to have that inked in as well. So I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to manually just fix that little spot. And it don't take long. It don't take long at all. Much better than going through and masking the whole thing, which will, in fact, kill you. It will kill you. It starts with your wrist, and then it will kill you. So don't do that, okay? Make it easier on yourself. You're in this for the long haul. Remember that. Art is your life. So make sure you take care of yourself. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just continue that flagpole down, as well as this flag here. It's kind of going behind the dust. And let's go ahead and check down here. Let's see, is everything looking okay here? It's looking pretty good. Oh, here's an example. I can go ahead and take out this mask because I forgot that there. And what do I want to do here? So I know that I want this flagpole covered. I'm just going to kind of wing it. I'm going to kind of wing it and just kind of fill in these masks as I see fit. And then later I can go in and just kind of adjust them however I want. But for now, I know that I want color here eventually. So I'm just going to go ahead and start filling stuff in over here. Good, good, good. Very good. What time we got? 7:30! Only halfway there. Halfway there. We are going to accomplish the goal that I set up, which is I wanted to mask the entire drawing and then throw in the values for the background, which we will be able to do. And that's very good. I'm cleaning that stuff up. These are representing like the little crates and like supplies that they're kind of toting around with them. Taking back to base. Taking it back to the home base. The goodies. The Girl Scout cookies. That's what they are. They're Girl Scout cookies. You know how that one guy in Zombieland is just obsessed with Twinkies? Thinking I should make one of these guys obsessed with Girl Scout cookies. I would like that. Because I myself am obsessed with Girl Scout cookies. I love them. I love them. I can never say no to Thin Mints. And I never will. Alright, so I like that. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a little bit more noise in there. And I think that looks pretty dang good. Going a little bit more of like some shape in here because that's a little empty. So let's go ahead and just throw in like a silhouette of some guy's bike through the dust there. That's it. That looks really good. Now, do I want some more guys back here? That's my question. Do I want some more like little figures coming back through here? I kind of do. I kind of do. So I'm just going to throw in a couple more figures back here. And we'll see if that tickles our fancy. Yes? Because I want this to be like a massive gang. I want it to be like 15, at least like 15 people. So you got like 1, 2, yeah, I don't know. Maybe like 10. Whatever. You get the idea. I just want it to be like a good group of guys. Good group of men. In fact, I should make these silhouettes a little bit more burly. They're going to be extra guys. Yeah. And they're like in the dust. They're like, that's why they have masks on. They have masks so they can breathe in the dust trail of everybody else. Okay, that's good. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Those are just supposed to represent other people. And I'm okay with that. All right. Oh, speaking of that, there needs to be another wheel there. So let's make sure we don't forget that. And I think that seals the deal, ladies and gentlemen. That seals the deal for me. I like it. All right, so it's time to take our background, and I'm going to go ahead and desaturate it. This is the next step in the journey. We desaturate the background so it's kind of more gray. I usually paint it with like a light blue. This is to simulate the comic book layout pencil that people usually use. It's like a light blue pencil. And I'd like to use my imagination, pretend I'm a real comic book artist. So that's why I paint in blue. But when I move on to the background, I don't want it to be blue, like as blue. So I'll kind of kick it more to gray, set it to multiply. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the frame mask. Basically what this is going to do is going to contain all of the color inside of the frame so nothing goes outside, obviously. And the comic looks clean and puro aficionado. Puro aficionado. Alright, so let's start with this one. We will name this frame mask 1, and I make it almost white, but not quite white. That way I can tell the difference between the background and where I'm actually laying in the mask. Okay, see what I just did there? So that's mask 1 for frame 1. And let's do frame. Usually I don't do like multiple frame masks, but since there's like an overlapping frame here, here, and here, I want to make sure that the color that's here does not bleed into this one because that becomes very, very annoying and it makes you want to tear your hair out. So, yeah. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson well. I'm going to go ahead and do this to select it. Use that cool little trick that an awesome viewer taught me how to do. Awesome viewers like you taught me to do this. We're going to go ahead and fill that as well. All right, peoples. And I'm going to go ahead and darken this just a teensy bit. That way I know that this one's different than that one, obviously. Lock dem pixels. And let's go ahead and start with frame number 1. And let's name this values. Because it's all good that we have values, right? Got to stick to your values. And let's go ahead and Alt-click between those so that we have a clipping mask behind us. And we're going to go ahead and start laying them in. Laying them values. And we're going to bust out the chalk brush, which gives us instant awesome texture. Instant awesome texture. We're going to start laying in them values, and it doesn't take that long. This is when the scene starts to take place. And you'll notice I use very, very broad strokes. Very, very, very broad strokes. And I know that I want the light to be coming from behind these guys, right? So naturally, the shadows are all going to fall this way, right? They're going to be being pushed out this way, okay? Immediately, we can start to see the depth that is taking place within our picture. Picture texture. Good. I want the ground to be darker. I actually want the ground to be darker than what's behind it. So I'm going to make sure that I darken this ground, make sure these shadows are nice and dark. The dark side. And as the ground goes back, because of atmosphere and just because I want it to be that way, I'm going to make sure it gets lighter. Lighter. Okay. Let's throw in a little bit of the brush line here. We got like some trees and stuff, so let's not forget those. And we got a little tree line kind of going up this way into the mountains. The montañas. The montañas. Let's throw in a little bit of darkness up here for the sky. And let's begin lighting this area, right? So we're going to have light from the sky hitting here, this part of the mountain, as well as this part of the mountain, right? The rest of it will be in shadow. The shadows beckon. That was from Warcraft 3. Ha! Nice! Nice. I was like, what is that from? The shadows beckon. The shadows beckon. I forget who says that. Is that the Acolyte? If anybody can enlighten me as to who actually says the shadows beckon from Warcraft 3. I think it's the Acolyte, but I'm not sure. The shadows beckon. Whatever. And again, just lightening up these values to what I see fit. And I'm going to go ahead and take the character mask, and I'm going to darken it just a tiny bit more. So that way the character mask clearly stands out from the background, and it will give me a good kind of general idea of what this scene is going to look like. But isn't that cool? Like, let's go back to what we started with. Look, see? We started with this, and then immediately after you lay in the masks and everything and start throwing in the background values, you immediately start to get an idea of what the scene is going to look like. You start setting the mood. Try this. I like doing it this way. I like setting the mood with black and white, and then I'll put a gradient map over top of it because it just allows me to think in just black and white. I don't need to worry about colors or anything. I basically take it one step at a time. I chunk it, right? Black and white, then go color, right? And usually I don't like to paint pictures like that. I won't paint people and like creatures that way, but I will paint backgrounds that way for reasons unknown. So let's go ahead and start the values on this bad boy right here because this is going to be a big one. This is going to be a big one. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Values, and alt-click between them. So we have our nice thingy. Okay, so I'll start actually by... This is going to have so much dark value in it that I'm very, very tempted to just go ahead and fill the entire thing and almost paint the light in. So I'm tempted to do this and then paint the light where I want it. So I think I'm going to do that. So I know I want light here. I want light to be occurring all throughout this here. All right. Just trying it on, see what happens. You know what I mean? Okay, so light here, light here, light here. A lot of light there. And naturally, the background is going to be lighter because we have atmosphere. Atmosphere. And this is going to be lighter because this is water. So I'm just trying things out. And this is another thing that I want to talk to you guys about. I'm lately trying to get into the habit of trusting myself. Trust in my artist. Trust in the force of the artist and your intuition. If you have an idea that will probably work and work well, just try it. Or maybe it won't even work well. If you just have an idea, just do it. Like, get out of your own way. Get out of your own way when you're making pictures. Right? Because I believe a lot of people are standing in their own way. Let's see here. Horizon line, that's going to be about there. I'm kind of rendering the reflection of this hill in the water, in the water. Okay, so we're going to have light all throughout here. All throughout here and here. Let's make this light nice and bright back here. It's actually going to be affecting a lot of this very, very heavily. Painting light. Painting light. Very fun. This actually is a lot of fun. I like this. I like this technique. This technique. I have nice bright dust here. Nice bright trail. Coming up and over here. We have a hill that kind of reaches down into this area. More light here, light on the bridge. I feel like I'm being a little conservative with the water. We should make the water really bright. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's looking better. But yeah, as I was saying, like if you ever feel like you're just getting art block or whatever, I always get that. I always get that question. It's like, how do I take care of artist block? How do I take care of all that? I think when I get artist block, it's because I'm worrying way too much about everything just looking perfect. Everything just needs to look right. You know, when I don't realize that, hey, if I just have an idea of how I can go about solving something, I should just do that. And then worst comes to worst, it doesn't work. And then usually by the time it doesn't work once, I'll say, oh, I know how I can do it. I know exactly how I can do it now. After one failure, usually, sometimes it takes 2 or 3, but usually after one failure, I realize what needs to actually be done. But I think the important thing is that you just get that failure out of the way, and then that allows you to get it right. Get the failures out of the way. All right, so I'm really, really liking this so far. This is looking really good. Looking really good. Okay, so let's go ahead and shade in this house here as well. Let's go ahead and put this strong lighting on there. Let's put some light here. All right, I'll make sure that our lighting is consistent. Consistent lighting. Actually, I think that later in the comic, the light is coming a little bit more from the left, so I'm going to push these shadows. You see these shadows kind of going through here? In fact, these will probably be a lot more diffused, but I'm just going to kind of like draw a little bit more of the cast shadows happening with the trees. I'm going to kind of push everything a little bit more to the right side. You can see like this big cast shadow that's coming from the house here. Push that a little bit more to the right as well. And yeah. I like it. I like it. Okay, let's draw in this grass here. This grass over here. These little things kind of sticking out the edge of the lake there. Canoe. Dock. Not bad. And then a good way to always test how you're doing is simply squint your eyes at it. And if you can start to see the scene kind of coming into place, like you can see, okay, there's something here, and it looks like there's a house here, and there's a road, a lake, and mountains, right? I feel like there could be some more clarity like over in these areas. But overall, you can see the scene actually coming together just with the values. And if you can squint your eyes and still tell what's going on, that means you have a strong composition and you have strong values, which is good. Like I said, we can improve them as we go, but for right now, we're not too worried. All right, guys, so we're going to go for about 5 more minutes of laying in values, and then I'm going to take questions from the question catapults. So, do as I said today. Do as I said today and write them down. Write down your good questions. That way you don't forget when the time comes. Do not let the opportunity pass you by, because then you'll have to wait until tomorrow. That would be a shame, wouldn't it? A whole 24 hours of banishment before you're able to launch your catapult once again. Oh, that's funny. All right. Make them good. I mean, your questions are always good, but you know what I mean. Add a little bit more atmosphere back here. Bring a little bit more lightness to the background here. Push all of these things back and let a lot of the darkness overtake over here. Have some nice dark areas over here. darkness in there. Throwing some nice darks in the house area. There we go. That looks good. Throwing a little bit more light here. That way that edge of the house comes out. You see how I just did that? See that? Squint your eyes. Squint your eyes at that, and then squint your eyes at that. See? Now there's clearly a line there. That makes us happy. I love it when I can tell what's going on. It's my favorite thing in the world. It actually is. It really is. Okay, a little bit of a cast shadow from that chimney. From that chimney. Yeah, thank you. Alright, on the roof there. Put a little bit more light on these windows because these are naturally more reflective, and we'll see a little bit more light on there. And let's see here. House is coming through quite nicely. I'm liking that. I want a little bit more light in here so I can see the edge of that. There would be some light hitting here as well. Again, also going to bring out this shape. It's going to look mighty fine. Yeah, so that's looking good now. Now I can really tell what's going on with that house. That's looking really good. I'm now the king of this castle. That was, from earlier. One of the songs that was playing. People on YouTube won't understand what that was, but people who watch live, the non-lazy people, will know what I was talking about. Non-lazy people that can't wake up, or that wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning in Sweden to watch the show, they'll know. They'll know. Crazy people. Crazy people waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. Teach me. Teach me. Do a tutorial. Give me a tutorial on how you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I did have to wake up at 4:30 for that 5K though. That was crazy. And you want to know the funny thing about that? Is that I woke up and I didn't feel tired. I mean, I went to bed at maybe like 10:30, 11. And that would be, what, 5.5 hours? And yet I woke up and I was just like ready to go. Whereas I get like 8, 9 hours of sleep and I wake up at 9:30. And it's like, I just like open my eyes and it's like already day out. And I just like slowly get out of bed. Or I kind of wake up, like look around, and then I go to sleep for another 5 minutes. And it's just so hard for me to like, I feel like I literally have to like grab the side of the bed and like pull me out of it. Like it's that bad. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what's up with that, but I don't really like it. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in some lighter colors here. Look at this guy. He's like driving on the hill. I should probably like extend the path out a little bit. But I'm going to add a little bit more lighter values here. That way the silhouette of these dudes comes through really, really well. And also I need to make sure that the cast shadows are also being pushed forward in these areas as well, right? Because these guys are existing, they are living, so they must have their own cast shadows. Even though they're kind of being pushed that way. Maybe I'll need to go back up here and adjust accordingly. In fact, I'll do that really quickly. Kind of push their shadows a little bit more to the right. It looks like, that way it looks like the light is coming from, over here, as opposed to straight behind them. And I think that will wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm really happy with that. That's a great start. That's a great start of our values. We can squint our eyes. We can see that there's something here, something happening here, and something happening here. And that's as good as it needs to be. So now I'm going to go ahead and open up the castle walls. I'm going to open up the floodgates for the question catapults to be chucked over. So please use the chat to your right to load your catapult and send it over, and I will answer your questions, any that you have. And then we'll end day 32 of the KNKL EMMA stream. And I hope today was actually day 32. I said that in the beginning, but I'm going to go ahead and check that really quickly. Oh, Fall Strider is saying 3 times a week I have to wake up at 5:30 for track practice. Yes, back in high school, I was on cross country, and I do remember that too. Waking up at 5:30 in the morning. That was some crazy stuff. Yes, it is 32. Oh, thank you. All right, peoples. Kitty is asking, when you go from grayscale to color, do you use overlay layers or color layers? Which do you prefer? Actually, Kitty, let me show you exactly what I do. I've shown this before on the daily, but I'll show you really quickly once more, because this is a very, very cool trick, and it's much, much easier than going through with color and all that stuff. This allows you to very, very quickly choose what you want the feeling and the mood of your picture to be, right? So here's what you do. You say we're going to color this piece really quickly, right? You're going to go up to Image, Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then you're going to pick this little thing called Gradient Map. And then you hit OK. And then what that does is that it allows you to select this, and then you can basically choose what color you want your shadows to be. So say we want red shadows and yellow light. Right, like that. And then in between there, we want it to go through like purple or something, right? But, obviously this is not what you would be doing unless you wanted to do some psychedelic painting, which is still pretty cool. It's a cool way to kind of throw in colors. But this is kind of the way that I go about starting my color, right? Especially for backgrounds, just like massive backgrounds, I really like to just throw on a gradient map, or a gradient map layer. Right? And then the cool thing about that is that, it goes from this to this, and then say you want to change that color. You're like, oh, okay, I want the shadows to be more blue. You just go right back into the gradient map, and then you go ahead and choose your blue color. And then you hit OK, hit OK. And I did that just by double-clicking this little thing right here. So that's a really, really fun way to start, laying out, going from black and white to color. And then, of course, you'll have to add in extra colors because otherwise it's going to look really kind of monochromatic and kind of cheesy. But I like how it basically calculates the gradients. It calculates the gradients like to go from this orange to this pink, right? And it picks those nice colors in between there. You let the computer do the work for you. And I really, really enjoy doing that. So Kitty, that's a good way to start your backgrounds because basically it allows you to choose like what's your atmosphere, what's your midground, and what's your shadows. And I've shown that before, but once more, I would like to demonstrate it to you, the fine people. Next! All right. Julian Brocker is asking, can I has le music link from le beginning? I need to remember what I played today because it was all through my iTunes, so I can't give you a link because it wasn't through YouTube. But I remember the first song was, a couple of the songs were from Blue States and, what was the other one? Blue States and Boards of Canada. That was the other one. So they both have kind of like chill, relaxed music, and I really, really like their stuff. So, but unfortunately, no links for you. 2 more questions, and then we are ending today. People are talking about Skype calls. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and do a Skype call today because it has been a little while. For those of you who want to show me your submissions to the LOL comic contest, if you have something, then yeah, let's join up and let's do a Skype call. Unfortunately, I'm not the one that usually organizes it. It's usually Sundancer. Sundancer is the guy with the little butt with the sunglasses in the chat, so you can talk to him. Bug him about that stuff. Alrighty. Alrighty. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and end today's stream, day 32 of the KNKL EMMA stream. Once again, I would like to thank those of you who went above and beyond to not only purchase the digital edition of the comic from the site, but I'm going to go ahead and pull up my special gift to those of you who decided to go above and beyond and show your love, right? These lovely people here. I created this nice little, look, you make Emma smile. You make realistic Emma smile. Hopefully that's not creepy or anything. I thought it was kind of cute. But she thanks you, and the sparkly names are for those epic donators. So once again, people, thank you once again, people on YouTube. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Kienan Lafferty, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, you guys take care. Oh yeah, and one more thing. If you want to get your name on here, if you like this, if you'd like to see your name in sparkling gold, or just your name on here, I'm going to put the link down below. Down below, you will find the link to the donation page on Emma for the Emma comic, and you can get your name. I'll update it, probably every couple days if people decide to make donations, and we'll have a good time with that. So, thank you once again, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.